Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Mayhem. Woo! I'm. My name is Forest Leader. You can find me as Fearless Leader in our Discord or all over social media. And I have the distinct pleasure of being your game master for this one shot, this sci fi horror one shot called The Abyss Stares Back. And playing with us this evening, we have our obviously fearless crew, and I'll give you all a chance to introduce yourselves. So
I'll
to my left,
me. Hi, my name is Nick, otherwise known as Sword. I used to be the DM for A Rectoon Rising, which we finished up the campaign.
it
Uh,
was great.
It
Woo!
was.
yeah. Uh, just some life events are happening, to where I will not be DMing for at least a little bit, but hopefully within the new year, I'll be back with a new game. But there's a lot of things happening on the Mayhem channel. We have 3 games going currently, and we're probably going to be starting a fourth here soon, maybe. Um,
Ooh.
but that's another further announcement down below. But definitely look down below to go and check out our links for the Discord, our YouTube, our TikTok, and our merch website. But yeah, without further ado, I will kick it further to the left. Nope, that's right.
Hi, I'm Ariana, also known as Stabby Queen on the Discord. You can find me on social media at ArianaJessica16 or on the Mayhem TikTok channel, which you should definitely check out. Um,
Woo!
yeah, we could have had a sponsor not sponsor tonight, but I'm ready to get into the sci-fi scaries. So let's go below. Like that one movie, As Above, So Below, which is also a scary movie. Ooh.
Hey everybody, I go by Sam most places, don't have much of a presence for content. I just kind of pop in and out to these one shots as they catch my interest. So, hello.
I
And
guess that comes over to me. Hello.
Yeah.
I am known as Yori Nefeli, a drop of beauty. In most places, that's where you can find me if I have a social media presence. One of those 3. So yeah, looking forward to playing this. I don't really do horror as a genre, so this will be fun. Something new.
Yes. All right. And I think that in the interests of getting to know everybody's characters as a part of the game uh, more organically, um, we'll just let people share who they are as I introduce them in game. So, yes.
What system are we playing?
Oh, yes, of course. Because we're playing in a sci fi horror kind of setting here this evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you, um, we are playing in a system called GURPS. And GURPS stands for Generic Universal Role Playing System. And so, whenever we make a test of a skill or to try and do anything in the game, then the players roll 3 6-sided dice to determine their success. If they roll high, they fail spectacularly. And if they roll low, then they succeed spectacularly. So, and generally, we want to roll as low as possible on our 6-sided dice, our shiny click clacks. Um, and so, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun as we're getting things going here. And we're doing one of the cool things about GURPS is there's so many optional rules that it can be as crunchy as you want to get into the real nitty gritty stuff. But it can also be more cinematic. You kind of have a slider. Where do I want on stuff? So we're going really rules light on our work tonight, but just trying to keep it in the tone of what we're going for here. So, everybody set?
Let's do it.
Excellent. So get yourselves ready.
Oh, hello.
The Destiny colony ship from Earth is gliding through the emptiness of the space between stars. Darkness surrounds it, and it carries with it the hope of humanity. Thousands of colonists from Earth, selected for various skills, traits that they had, and with a desire to start fresh in a new land, a new world, are sleeping peacefully in a cryogenic chamber, each individual, as they go, in order to keep the ship running smoothly as it makes this generations-long journey. A skeleton crew of individuals is woken periodically to keep things working, perform upkeep and maintenance as needed. And that brings us to the crew deck, and more specifically to the inside of a cryogenic chamber. You feel, each of you, a change before you see it. A lightening, a lightness in the air, sensation beginning to tingle in your fingertips and your toes, and your eyelids start to flutter as empty blackness resolves into thought and fuzzy white light just before a stinging pain between your shoulder blades causes you to gasp raggedly as your heart begins to pace, beating wildly. Boom, 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 boom. The chemical compound meant to wake your system from cryogenic sleep kicks in. And you find yourself, as your eyes open, suffused in white light and trapped inside of your chamber, not much larger than a coffin. Now, Darius, you're not a fan of small spaces. So I'm going to ask you to make a will test for your claustrophobia. as it feels like the sides, the curved, smooth, smoky glass sides of your cryogenic pod feel like they're shrinking in on you. There's not enough air in this place. So, tell me, why don't you make that challenge test? You need to make a 12 or lower to succeed on that.
Oh, good. I rolled an 11.
All right. You're able to get that under control. You know, you've been in these cryochambers before. You know that someone is going to release the hatch and let you out. It's all part of your training before coming on this voyage across the stars. And Alan, you have a similar kind of reaction as you come awake, and you're very aware of how close the sides are to you. Go ahead and make that same check.
So I'm rolling all three.
You roll
Sure.
all three.
All right.
Yep, all three, and you add them together.
Ah, I also got an 11.
All right. You're uncomfortable, but your training kicks in. You know how this works. You breathe slowly. You go through whatever you need to get that stuff settled. And Gidget, inside of your chamber, what are you doing to get started here as you're starting to wake up? We cannot hear you. You are muted.
That would do it. She is going to try and shake the vapors from her head and see if anyone is coming along to let her out.
All right. You shake the vapors from your head. You wait for the biochemicals to do their work. Danny. There you are. You are also muted, my friend.
Am I? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Woo!
You are inside your cryo chamber, and it's got a little more space for you than most people, but the as you come to, you are surrounded in light and waiting to be released.
Danny likes the coffin feel of the chamber, so she's just
All
kind of
right.
doing some like morning deep breaths. She's kind of wiggling her fingers, waking her body up a little bit with some little stretches in the little space that she has, just kind of intently sighing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. However, as each of you goes through the steps that you need to, taking your breaths and waiting for your mind to clear, you find that the latch hasn't come undone. That usually would have opened by now.
Does the latch, is it like someone comes and undoes the latch, or it like is an automatic?
Typically, it's an automatic kind of function.
Is there like a fail safe we were told about in case this happens, like inside the chamber?
Go ahead and make an. Let's see. Do you have the spacer skill?
Yeah, I added it.
Go ahead and make
Go
that
ahead and add
roll.
it. Yeah. So I rolled a 10, and the spacer thing says 12. So I
Excellent.
succeed.
So you are able to find. There is a fail safe. There's a lever that you can pull, a manual override, and it's up over your head. You have to kind of press yourself against the sides to reach up high enough to get it. But once you do, you feel the deep pressurization or equalization of the chamber with the outside, and the hatch clicks open.
Sweet. I do some more stretching, and then I realize no one else is opening their chambers. So I guess I'll go open them.
Okay. To your left, there are. So you are sort of in the middle of this little section of 4. You see where each of your pods was placed into the room through the pod chute at the wall. The tubing and the irising openings there are closed now that you're in here, but each of your pods is on a low table. So after pushing the lid of yours open, you see 1 to your right and 2 to your left of these other pods in here, who you presume to be the other crew members that you've been awoken with.
Okay.
So
I'll start on my right and I'll work my way around. And
okay.
I'm quietly, very out of tune, singing the Good Morning song from Singing in the Rain.
All right. So you walk over to and as you swing your legs off the side and such, you hop down to the floor, and going to the chamber on your right, find the latch and release it, and Darius, your cryo chamber releases, and you can feel that blessed fresh air coming in, and of course I mean the fresh, stale, ozonated air of the ship, and the lid opens. And Danny, will you describe yourself for us all as Darius is seeing you now?
Yeah, you see, I'm like average height girl. She has thick, long black hair. The ends are pink. Like if you watch Demon Slayer, how like it's like that natural two-tone effect. She's got that going on. She's got like chipped black nail polish. Just kind of doing her thing, just kind of stretching it out, just like singing very badly. Kind of waves awkwardly at you.
The lights in the room flicker
Oh,
and then come back on.
maybe that's why the pods didn't open.
I will attempt to remove myself from the pod as quickly as possible.
You do. You hop your ass real fast out of that thing, with your feet on the ground. This room is much larger than the cryogenic chamber. That's for certain. And the two of you are are able to, stretch out a bit more. Darius, what does Danny see? Describe yourself, please.
Same as you, about average height. Uh, Shorter, well kept brown hair. Just kind of a easy to miss in a crowd person.
All right. So, I am guessing that the two of you are moving over to open the other two pods.
Hmm.
Would we have any gear, equipment near our pods?
Uh, there, there are some lockers near, at on one of the walls. I will say, as you each, and I forgot to mention this when Danny got out of hers, but as you each exit the pod, you're wearing a very tight-fitting kind of, each of you, jumpsuit, which has ports for that are built into them for a number of tubes, which, as you move away, or like sitting up and out of the cryogenic chamber, the tubes detach themselves and ooze just slightly as you as they break away from the ports, and you can you can see that the fluids and such that kind of are in them vary in color, but are very kind of viscous, and you have a kind of clearish yellowish swirled with a reddish brown kind of color coming from some, while others tend towards a more clear kind of color, but it pools in the bottom of the cryogenic pod that you were in. And Gidget and Alan, each of you who still has these tubes attached to you in various places around your body. So, Darius, you asked about equipment lockers.
Yeah, if they are in lockers like along a wall, I will go and release another,
Okay.
get one of the other two pods open before I step over and start looking for some medical equipment to make
All
sure
right.
everyone woke up right.
Okay. You open Gidget's pod. And Gidget, as previously described, you find yourself in this sterile room with Danny and Darius. Will you describe yourself for us?
Much like everyone else, Danny is a fairly regular looking humanoid, a bit on the younger side, blue eyes, black hairs, freckled face, but she also looks like she's been augmented. She has this like metallic electronic collar around her with a big mesh right over where her larynx would be, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember my anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at her closer, you might see like a few bits of metal protruding from like her spine. It looks like she survived an injury at some point in her life, but other than that, that's about her.
All right. And Danny, you open the cryo chamber for Alan.
been some frantic knocking on the.
Yes, hands begin to. You can see they're starting to pat
Han
on the.
soloing.
I can lead you in some breath control practices if you'd like.
No, no.
You
I'm-
good?
I am now.
Good morning.
Fuck, it's morning.
I don't know. Just you sleep, you wake up. Good morning.
You're not able to see any kind of clock or anything around to tell you what time it is.
Oh goody.
Look at my. Yeah, I think we slept in a little bit. Non-existent wristwatch.
I mean, I could go grab my wristwatch.
You
All
appear
right.
to have slept a freckle past a hair.
I'm glad we have jokes.
Yes. So why did the light flicker?
Couldn't tell you.
Start.
Probably related to why the hatches didn't open though.
Yes, this is peculiar.
Probably.
Are the lockers labeled by chance?
No.
I'm just gonna pick one, start opening them up, and rifling through them,
Okay.
looking for stuff.
What are you looking for?
Primarily medical equipments,
Okay.
basic scanners, and anything I can just test to make sure everyone woke up right. I can
Absolutely.
take with me.
All right. You're able to find a medical scanner. It's a multi-tool, if you will, and other of your basic medic equipment in one of the lockers.
Perfect.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, as an electrician
Yes.
and an engineer electrical,
Uh-huh.
would I have or would I be able to make a check on
Yeah, you might know some reasons why something like that could happen.
I got a total of 10.
All right. And so that is just enough to give you an idea of things. The main issue that you have, though, as an electrician, as an electrical engineer, and whatnot, you are familiar with how ships like this work, and there are any number of things that could cause an a little blip like that. Until you've done some diagnostics, it's hard to say for sure.
Okay.
So, oh, and Alan, will you please describe yourself as to what everyone sees when you come out from your chamber?
Uh, freshly, well, not freshly, but clean cut for no beard, well kept hair that seems to be combed over, kind of just like how mine is currently. Probably 6 foot, brown hair, brown eyes. Yeah.
All right. Great. Thank you. Now, all of you have seen each other before this, but are not well acquainted with each other. The crew roles in the way that things work as far as the um, selection of crew members to work at a particular time is done based on algorithms and such. But you have seen each other as part of processing to become a part of this mission to Altair. Um, so, that being said, while you recognize the people in the room, you do not know them well. You have not worked with them before. And as you are, oh, go ahead.
No, keep going. You can keep going.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna fumble around through the things in the lockers and find my suitcase lab and just kind of start playing with the ooze that came out of the tubes for science.
Right. Now, you as a scientist and someone who pays attention in debriefings and of those various kinds would know that the fluids are part of the way the cryogenic system works, because while it slows the body's functions to a crawl, if you will, the body still has needs that have to be cared for in that time, just on a slower scale. So, you find various kinds of trace amounts of, bodily fluids, as well as some kinds of, also that it's like a vitamin and nutrient
IV.
rich kind of, yeah, exactly. So that's what all that stuff is.
Science rules.
Science rules. And what are you doing during this time, Gidget? I ask after sorry, you were taking a bite. Let me come back to you. What are you doing, Alan?
I'm going to probably go over to Darius and see if there are maybe a multi-tool of my own for
Mhm.
like a toolkit and a flashlight.
Sure. Absolutely. You are able to, working together with Darius, find a toolkit for your electrical maintenance work and a flashlight as well. And as you're doing that, you notice something on the floor near the door to the left of the lockers. It looks like approximately four, yeah, four uh, brown streaks on the ground that begin near the door and go under it, pass out of the room.
Oh.
as I noticed that, would, well, other than because Danny is playing with a chemistry set,
Mm-hmm.
would I know the basic layouts of our skeleton crew? Like who has what role? Or
You would
Well,
know the roles that exist in the skeleton crew, but not necessarily who's filling which role. It though from observation, you could probably say that the
Hmm.
you could probably say that Danny is the science specialist, and Darius is the medical. You know your own role, and so that would leave Gidget in navigation.
um, uh, uh, I don't know particularly what this is on whether or not if this is a medical issue or a science issue. Um, I don't know what role this fills, but there are maybe a Code Brown from the last crew.
Would any of us know if we were to be woken up by the previous crew and then they go back into cryo, or is it we're to be woken up automatically by the ship?
Broken up by the ship.
The ship selects and wakes the crew members according to the algorithms.
Okay.
Hearing Code Brown, Danny comes running over to investigate the code.
Did you say that out loud?
Yep. I mean, that's what he said. He said
I did
Code
say
Brown.
Code Brown.
I would assume you're looking at the aforementioned stains.
Yes, I'm looking. I'll point to them too.
Gidget will join the crowd as well.
Okay. Darius and Danny. Danny, what's your scientific specialty?
I'm
Or are you more of a generalist?
more of a generalist.
Okay.
I like to learn about all the things,
Hmm.
all the science.
So, Darius, you'll have the easier time recognizing, but this is definitely not a Code Brown situation. The substance that you see on the ground before you is dried blood.
Gidget is going to cock her head to the side as she examines these. Huh.
The
Well-
stains are dragging out, like the door is sealed, cutting the stains off.
Yes. And as you examine them, you begin to hear some tapping sounds, like a metallic tapping sound outside. And a scraping on metal that then fades as it passes, and the clicking continues.
Oh, this is fucking great.
Is the door locked?
How are you checking?
Are these? I assume these are like automatic doors with a screen on off to the side.
Yes, there's a touchpad to the side. So, looking at it, you could see a status. It does not show as sealed. Um, you would also know that with a simple touch on the pad that the door would slide open.
I'm just gonna reach up and kind of hit the lock button.
Okay. The light on the touchpad turns red, indicating sealed.
Turn to
Hmm.
look at. I assume you all are kind of around the door now at this point.
No, I've gone to the lockers and I'm getting gear.
Well, it is apparent we are all being harvested for our organs. One simple set of 4 at a time. They come in, they kill us, they take our blood, and then the next one appears. It appears it is our turn. How unfortunate.
If
You're
that-
just gonna turn around and try and see if there's like a wall computer with like readouts so she can like check the status of the ship in.
Absolutely. You do find that there is a panel that you can use to access the computer functions for the ship.
Can she try and see like general status? See if like any breach has been reported, like number of people still in cryo, etc., etc.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a computer operation roll for me. Test. And this is a basic one, so it'll just be at your regular skill level. So
Alright.
13.
I rolled a 10.
All right. It quickly comes up. You're able to flick through the information. You can see the active cryo chambers. There are currently 9,506 active cryo chambers on there. And it shows that you can go through status of various of the screens there on it, showing cryo chamber wing or I'm thinking the wrong word. We'll call it section. Cryo chamber section A, active, nominal. Cryo chamber section B, nominal. Cryo chamber section C, compromised. Cryo chamber section D, nominal. And so on through just one of the cryo chamber sections has been compromised, it looks like. It shows no life signs in that section.
And approximately how many does a section contain?
It would have contained approximately, well, not approximately, it would have been precisely 500.
Gidget has found the harvestees.
Okay, but if they wanted to harvest us, why weren't they in here ready to harvest us as soon as chambers opened?
Chambers did not open. We opened it ourselves. Perhaps we came early.
The lights flicker again. And before they stay dark slightly longer before coming back on.
And what have
And
you? Go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. The after that flicker, the cryo chambers, those pods, slam shut and begin to move towards the irises at the wall.
My nap coffin.
Would I know of, other than the door, any other passageways to get to different parts of the ship?
There are different ways to, there are like service access points and whatnot, but there aren't any of them in this room. Also, you don't have any environment suits or pressure suits or anything like that for doing any kind of spacewalk.
So basically, we have to go through Bloodstained Door, where the creepy, clicky clacky, potentially metallic, scary crab monster was.
Could be. It seems that way.
Okay.
All right, well, I have a bag on my shoulders and a scared look on my face.
The first pod reaches the iris, and as it makes contact, you hear a kind of a suctiony kind of noise, and then the pod begins to exit the room through the iris there.
So, I think I know of a way to move about the ship. There are service accesses around the ship. I think it would be probably best not to wait to be harvested in this room.
I'd rather
And-
not be harvested at all.
I also don't want the
Any
lights
other
to go
room?
out.
Is it viable for life in the suction tubes?
With the liquids?
No, after. There are 3 more pods remaining that will be sucked in. There is a small window of time in which we can go through, if plausible.
Would I be able to know?
Is that like a Monsters Inc. scenario with the room with all the doors, or is it just like space for the chamber? You go in it, you get crushed when chamber goes in.
Yo no sé.
So the let's see. Anyone with the spacer skill can go ahead and make that test. This is sort of an obscure check on this, though, an obscure part of how this ship works. So you can make that roll, but it's going to be a bit harder. So you're going to add 1 to your outcome of your roll on there. Or rather, it's going to subtract 1 from your skill level for your difficulty. So you don't add 1, but the number is 1 less than your skill level.
Oh, well, then I rolled too high.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, I rolled a 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I rolled a 10, and if
Okay.
it's +1, then I got an 11.
So it's not +1, it's that your skill level is effectively reduced by 1. So you have to roll 1 lower than normal. So if you rolled a 10 and your skill level is 10, you need to roll a 9 to
I got it.
succeed.
For the spacer, it's skill level 11, and I just
Okay.
made it.
All right. Perfect.
I rolled
job.
a 9
Okay.
with
Do you,
a target of 12.
okay, excellent. So, for those that succeeded, you would know that the space or the tubes that the uh, cryopods travel through out to the outer sections, or rather the inner sections. That gravity's not as important for the cryogenically frozen of the ship are vacuums. It's a vacuum space, so there's no air inside. But and that because they travel towards the center of the ship, there is also less gravity the farther you go in that direction. So it's likely not a viable way to go because you have to breathe.
What if we jam the door open with one of the lockers?
Door
The
with
lockers
boat
are
stand?
built into the wall.
Damn it.
Are you, but other than that, are you referring to the door into the corridor outside of the room, or are you referring to the irises that the pods are going into right now?
The irises.
Yeah, sphincters.
Um, so you can try.
So would I be able to access that? Well, I have two options. I can hack into the computer to make it stop, hopefully. Um, or I can fuck around with the electrical parts of it to go and kind of hopefully short circuit it.
The lights go out.
Fuck. I turn on the flashlight.
Take out my flashlight,
Okay,
but it's a little one.
that's fine.
I would like to find a headlamp if at all possible.
You don't find a headlamp, but you
I
do
did-
find a flashlight.
So we all had a flashlight, and
Fingers crossed.
Mhm.
So I'll try to short circuit it to stop, I guess, from closing the door, or from stopping the tracks.
The first pod has completed its exit, and the iris is closed behind it. And the second pod is reaching that iris, sealing,
Okay.
beginning its exit.
I'll try to sort. I'll short it.
Okay. Go ahead and make an electrician test for me. And this is going to be a pretty hard test on their. You're working outside of any kind of access panels or anything here. So go ahead and make that with a -2 on the skill level.
Okay, so I got an 11. Electrician is 10. How do I
So-
use luck?
You just say, I want to use my luck, and you
Uh,
re-roll.
I re-roll all of them.
Yeah, a roll is all 3 dice.
Okay. No, it's still 10. Shit. So that would be 8 is what I would need.
So your skill level is 10, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, so you would need to roll 8 or lower. So if you rolled a 10, that's a failure.
Shit.
Gidget is wondering what happens to us when air is vacuumed out.
Well,
Scientifically speaking, we do need H2O to breathe.
That is
So,
water.
I was
O2.
testing you.
Gidget would roll insight, but she does not care at this moment. Also,
There is
for
no
some
insight.
reason, also for some reason, Gidget is talking in the third person. Yori has influenced her too much.
All right. So as you are discussing whether or not, or what the effects of introducing a vacuum to an air-filled space would be, the light on the door panel turns green.
oh shit.
Gidget would like to hide.
I would also like to hide. And as I'm running, if there's anyone by me, I'll grab them and pull them behind one of the remaining pods.
And
Okay.
perhaps find a blunt force object.
I will take out a dagger.
I'll-
So you do have a, it's not like a combat dagger, but you do have a
Science dagger.
yeah, science dagger.
Scalpel.
You have a simple knife that was in amongst the belongings that were introduced to the chamber, and it's got engraved into the handle a little a little message that says, for my favorite protege, now you can open any letter.
Would I have a medical, like a scalpel, and like inside of a first aid kit?
You, yes, I'll say that you've got a scalpel in there. Sure.
I'll just take out a wrench.
Okay.
I don't
multi-purpose.
think with Gidget being a navigator, the only thing I can think of her having would be like one of those Pep Boys like wrist tablets. Is there anything she could find around that would work for a blunt force object or something to use in case she needed it?
Go ahead and make an IQ test. So it's just off of your basic IQ, and it'll be at -3.
And the lights are still off, yes.
They are still off.
Well, it doesn't matter because I rolled a 16.
Should we
Ooh.
turn our flashlights off?
So,
I will scream.
We're hiding.
I will scream.
so you're not able to find anything in the dark, although you do have a little flashlight. So, but you're not really finding anything else.
All right. Well, in that case, she's just gonna duck and cover.
Okay. The door slides up. And a low mist rolls into the room, wisping. And you hear heavy breathing outside the room.
Am I still near the door?
Did
More
you go
specifically,
somewhere
the door.
different?
I don't think I moved.
Okay, then
Go ahead.
you can see out the door.
Oh, yay.
And I use my ventriloquism skills to throw my voice into the hallway so it's outside of the chamber that we like the room we're in.
What are you trying to do?
Use my ventriloquism.
No, I
skill.
got that. What
Yeah.
are you trying to do?
Just make it sound like I'm having a conversation and I'm in the hallway. And so maybe they'll leave the room and go towards the voice
Okay.
in the hallway.
So you're trying to distract
Yeah.
with ventriloquism,
Yeah.
throwing your voice.
Yeah.
Okay. You can definitely try that. But wait for me for now.
Okay. I won't roll.
Darius,
I'm afraid.
your flashlight, are you looking out the door after it opens?
As it opens, I would turn so my flashlight's in the doorway.
Right. Okay, so you can see the cone of light coming from your flashlight goes out into the darkness of the hall and hits the wall of the corridor on the opposite side. The mist curls across very faintly with the low hissing of the air recyclers, giving a slight sense of movement to the air. You don't see anything else.
Reach over and push the button to close the door.
The light of the panel goes dark.
Kit, grab the scalpel.
Danny, you wanted to throw your voice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm afraid of my dice a little bit.
It's a big change going from roll high is good to roll low is good.
No, my dice are rolling high. So, I did not succeed.
What did you roll?
I rolled 14, and I needed to roll, oh no, look, 10 or less.
Okay.
Okay.
So describe for me what you say as you're doing your throwing of your voice, which, by the way, in the future is also how I'll have things go. You tell me what you do, and then we'll have you roll.
Okay.
Okay? Go ahead.
Wow, it's so great to be awake again. Big stretch. Science rules.
The heavy breathing stops. The lights flicker on. Doof. The third cryopod is on its way out. And after the after the pod exits past the iris starts to close and does not close all the way. You begin to notice that the mist in the room is floating in the direction of that open iris.
We need to leave.
Yes, good idea. I'm going to step out into the hallway since I'm probably the closest. And look left.
Okay.
Gidget
You
would
see
like
it-
to look on the ceiling. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Totally. Looking out to the left, Darius, you see a wide corridor that has just the slightest bit of a rising kind of feel to it.